Hello, Vikings! Today we are going to read new information about ancient Persia and India, take notes, and answer questions to show our understanding. So you should have your note taker and a pen or pencil. Directions: fill in the blanks on your note paper as you follow along with the PowerPoint. Words that need to be written will be underlined on each slide. On your note taker, answer all of the questions in complete sentences. So let's start with vocabulary. Conquer means to take over another civilization by force. Monotheistic is the belief in one god rather than many gods. A peninsula is an area of land that is surrounded by water on three sides. The Persian Empire. Ancient Persians belonged to a group of people called the Aryans. These were supposedly the same type of people who migrated into India and settled with the local inhabitants. So in red on this map over here, we have the Persian Empire. You can see at the height, it extended all the way into Egypt. It's where Mesopotamia was. And you've got all the way over until the Himalaya Mountains in the east. It goes from the Caspian Sea to the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. The term Aryan means nobles and has nothing to do with Hitler's Aryans. The Aryans settled in modern-day eastern Iran around 6000 BCE and split into three groups. The Scythians, who lived in the northern Zagros Mountains, up here. The Medes, who lived north and south near the old Assyrian territories, so here. And Persians, also called Parthia, who settled in many locations. So even though on the map it says it's here, they were actually all over, and we're going to talk more about them. Cyrus the Great, military leader and first king of kings. The Medes controlled the Persians until the coming of Cyrus the Great, who ruled from 559 to 530 BCE. Cyrus was a brilliant military and diplomatic leader. He won battles and knew how to exploit the personal issues of his enemies. He was able to convince the Median army to go over to his side in 549 BCE. He then quickly conquered Asia Minor. From there, he also conquered the Neo-Babylonians in 539 BCE without a fight. Friends, he was a very powerful leader. That's why he was called the Great. So I want you to answer in complete sentences. How does having a strong leader make a civilization strong? Pause the video. Cyrus's well-run government. Cyrus divided his empire into 12 areas called satrapies, with a ruling satrap or governor. Local government fell under the control of the local satrap. This is similar to how in the current United States, we have a local governor in charge of states who all report to the overall ruler, who is actually the president. Royal troops were stationed near each satrapy to encourage the loyalty of the satraps. He created laws, standardized taxes, and had a reputation for fairness. Old Persian became the official language for the entire empire. Remember, friends, if I go too fast, you can always rewind or you can pause the video. The death of a king. After Cyrus's death, his son Cambyses ruled. Cambyses extended the Persian Empire to Egypt. A few years after, so let's talk about just an absolute crazy transfer of power here. A few years after Cambyses had conquered Egypt, he decided to inspect the Syrian territories of his empire. So he went from Egypt back to Syria. Today, you would just hop on a plane. Back then, it was a long trip. He had left his brother in charge. Okay, back to reading. There we go. He decided to inspect the Syrian territories of his empire. While there, Cambyses learned that his brother had faked rebellion to try to conquer the Persian Empire. So his brother said, ooh, Cambyses isn't here, so I'm going to try and take over. The famous historian Herodotus tells us that while leaping onto his horse, Cambyses broke the hilt of his sword. The blade cut deep into Cambyses' thigh, and his thigh became infected. Cambyses died of gangrene blood poisoning. Darius I, who was the spear bearer for Cambyses, assassinated Cambyses' brother with the help of a few other Persian nobles. These nobles proclaimed Darius to be the next great king of Persia. So, let's talk a little bit more. For most of documented history, power has moved either through family lineage, meaning from father to son, like with Cyrus and Cambyses, or was taken by force, like Cambyses' brother tried to do. However, nowadays, power is often peacefully passed to the next elected leader. So my question for you, dear friends, in your opinion, what is the best way to transfer power from one person to the next? And explain why. So let's talk about Darius the Great. He was called the greatest king of kings. Darius was the son-in-law of Cyrus the Great. He made many improvements to the empire, including he established a tax collection system. He allowed conquered people to keep their own customs and religions. He established a postal system. Actually, this is a huge one. Most times when people take over other civilizations, they try and force them to conform to their own the conquerors' religions and customs. But the fact that Darius took over people and still let them be who they're supposed to be, it's pretty dang cool. He established a postal system so things could get from one place to another place. He established a network of spies who were known as the eyes and the ears of the king. If you're that powerful, a lot of people are trying to fight you. Darius had 2 new capitals built, one in Susa and the more important one in Persepolis? Persepolis, we're going to go with that. And he extended his empire to the Indus Valley and built a canal to the Red Sea in Egypt. That means that things were able to move not just through a postal system over land, things were also able to move by sea. And we'll talk a little bit more about the importance of travel later on. So my question for you, in your opinion, which was the most important improvement he made and why? The religion of ancient Persians. Zoroaster was the creator and prophet of the official religion of Persia. This religion still exists today and is called Zoroastrianism. I say you say Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism. Zoroaster lived between 1500 and 1000 BCE, somewhere between Iran, Afghanistan, and Turkmenistan, modern day. He was considered to be a reformer of the Persian religion. Zoroaster taught tolerance, respect for others, doing good, and struggling against evil. Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic religion. Go back to your vocabulary. Remember, monotheism is belief in one God. So let's talk about the important people in Zoroastrianism. We have Ahura Mazda, who is the supreme being. He is an all-good creator god. Fire is his sacred symbol, and fire is used in his worship. Ahriman is the evil brother of Ahura Mazda. He is all evil, and he is the creator of all evil things. Ahura Mazda and Ahriman oppose each other. They are engaged in a continual battle to determine whether good will triumph over evil or evil triumph over good. This battle is believed to continue for 6,000 years. Zoroastrians believe that eventually Ahura Mazda will win the battle and all good people will join him in paradise. Zoroaster taught that all humans must make a choice to either be on the side of good or the side of evil. A person makes this choice through their ethical behavior. If one lives ethically, they may have chosen to be on the side of Ahura Mazda. If they live unethically, they have chosen Ahriman. Zoroastrianism is thought to have influenced the ancient Hebrews in their beliefs of a devil, hell, paradise, and a last judgment. So Christianity was also influenced by Zoroastrianism in that case, because Christianity comes from Judaism, which these beliefs come from Zoroastrianism. Everything is connected, friends. The geography of India. India is located in Asia. It is a peninsula surrounded by water on 3 sides. So we have India here, and then we've got the 3 sides of water. Yes, we get that? Yes? Okay, good. Ancient India is also called the Indus River Valley because it was built along the Indus River. Right there. Ooh, ah, oh, wow. So there's some major physical features of India. We have the Thar Desert. We have the Himalaya Mountains. Yes, we see the mountain range? Okay, good. We have the Deccan Plateau. We have the Indus and the Ganges rivers. We have the Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea, and the Bay of Bengal. So I want you to choose one of these physical features and tell me, what physical feature did ancient India settle around? Which one of these features did India settle around? Let's talk about the resources. The Indus Valley had tons of natural resources. They had fresh water, they had timber, they had gold and silver, they had semi-precious stones. Here's a picture of some emeralds. And they also had marine resources. Here's a picture of some fish. Now keep in mind, these are not the only resources they had, but it's a good starting point. So my question for you, why would access to natural resources make India so desirable? What made people want to settle there and continue living there? Let's talk about the contributions and the innovations of India. So the first thing is Sanskrit. This is the writing system of ancient India used to keep records. It wasn't really like our writing nowadays where you would write people letters. It was more of a way to keep catalog of the important things. They also innovated universities and colleges. People could study and develop new trade routes and irrigation systems. Number system. They used a decimal place value system that used digits and zeros as placeholders. They created indoor toilets and drainage systems, a bathroom with pipes running to a sewer under the street. The running water from the fountain ran off under the bathroom, carrying off waste. Friends, this is huge. This helped people survive. It helped keep water clean. This is a huge thing. They also contributed to roads. They were used for trading of goods and ideas. Cultural diffusion was a big part of helping India spread their ideas to other areas. We'll talk more about cultural diffusion when we talk about the Silk Road in China. So my question for you, which contribution was most important to ancient India? And our last bit, the social hierarchy, the Indian caste system. Every person had a role to play in India's society. Different groups had their own job and their own responsibilities. A person was born into a group and was not allowed to change at any point. So if you were born a Vaisya, you stayed a Vaisya for the rest of your life. No matter how rich you got or how hard you worked, you could not move up, and you very rarely moved down. People in one group were not allowed to marry people in another group. Shoot, they were barely allowed to be friends, if even. And the overall idea of the caste system, that's what we call the Indian social hierarchy, is the caste system, came from the Vedas, or the Hindu religion's religious texts. So we'll talk more about it, but the Indian caste system is the Brahmins at the very top, the Kshatriyas, the Vaisyas, the Shudra, and the Dalits, or the untouchables. We will talk a lot about this. Here is where we got our information. Friends, make sure you completely answer all of the questions. And for an extra credit point, write down the side, what else would you like to learn about in ancient Persia and India? As always, be good people, make good choices. If you need help, ask for it.